located where it is. Native Americans, fur traders, pioneers, and of course folks. Now, Native Americans have lived here about 15,000 years, and the tribe we know most about is, tribes we know most about are the Utes of the 1700s, UTES, and then moved into the mountains a little after that. And then in the 1800s, the Cheyenne, Comanche, and Arapaho tribes moved in. Actually went to a high school named after the Arapaho tribe. Good school. This area, the Denver area, was actually part of the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 from Napoleon Bonaparte himself. Southern Colorado belonged to Mexico and Spain. And to your left is the site of the Warren Ferry. Now, in the 1860s, a man by the name of Warren would charge people $1.50 to cross the river on his ferry. Not much now, but back then that was about $42. So, people got sick of paying that. Built a bridge here to put a new line of work. There's a little strip of land on your left we're coming up on. That's Fishback Landing. Not actually named after the fishes, but the family and the foundation that started this, or that donated this land, pardon me, the Fishback Foundation. And we're coming up here on your right on the downtown aquarium. Jump on or get off. You guys are getting off at children, so. Yep. Perfect. Now, those of you who are running, waving their arms, or screaming, so I think we're good to go. Those tend to be the universal signs for please let me have your train. So this is the downtown aquarium, like I said, built in 2005. And has over 1 million gallons of salt and freshwater exhibits, including 3 Sumatran tigers. Sumatra is an island in Indonesia. They seems kind of weird they have tigers in the aquarium, but they have webbed paws and they're very good swimmers. But these cats do love water. There's only about 450 in the whole world, so we're very lucky to have 3 of these medically endangered, very beautiful animals. There's also a seafood restaurant inside the aquarium, Landry's, I believe. First time I ever had calamari as a kid. Wasn't a huge fan of it, a little too squishy for my tastes. And we're coming up here on the stump of a tree. Now, it's a cottonwood tree. It looks like some kind of animal chewed on this tree till it fell down. Any of you kiddos happen to know what kind of animal would do that? Beaver, yes. Yeah, we do get beavers around here sometimes. We actually saw one swimming down the river, taking a little lap down the river about a week ago. And if we find them, we relocate them to a safer part of the country. We tend to give them a bus to get out of town. And occasionally we'll put chicken wire around the trunks of trees in order to protect them from a beaver attack. Now, gold was a big reason that Denver was founded. In the 1840s, a Cherokee woman was on the way to California with her tribe, and she found gold in this very river. Native Americans weren't hugely interested in gold, more interested in buffalo, but sure got the attention of white settlers. And about 10 years later or so, William Russell found gold south of here. Founded Auraria on the spot. Auraria is, after Latin, word for gold, which is oro. On the other side of Cherry Creek, there's a settlement called St. Charles, which you probably never heard of because it was abandoned before the claim was jumped by General Denver. Well, we named it to Denver City after the regional governor of the time, James Denver. He was actually part of Kansas at the time. Now, James Denver wasn't a huge fan of the city, only visited twice or so before moving on to California, but the name stuck and was eventually shortened from Denver City just to Denver. We're actually going to stop here at the Children's Museum of Denver. Some of you might know very well, this is the Children's Museum of Denver. It started in the 70s out of the school bus as a traveling exhibit run by some parents and teachers. And in 1984 they built the actual building, and it's grown ever since and now has some of the highest foot traffic per square foot of any children's museum and has won several awards for excellence. Now I'm sure you can't help but notice the amusement park to your left.
I have money, but I don't have the coin.
That's English Gardens.
It's my credit card.
One of our very famous amusement parks. And it actually started north of here in 1890 as English's Zoological Gardens.
Yes, it is roller coaster.
And in the 60s they actually opened one of their first roller coasters, Mr. Twister. A white wooden roller coaster was about 90 feet high with about 55 miles an hour. On its first drop, it was one of the top 10 roller coasters in America when it was opened. When they moved their current location in 95, they couldn't actually move Mr. Twister, so they tore it down, rebuilt it using the same plans, and that's Twister 2 that you see to your left. Some of the Elitch's first were Denver, Denver's first, Botanical Gardens, Symphony Orchestra, Movie House, and one of the first series was to Chicago. My personal favorite is the Mind Eraser. It's a good ride. And if you look to your left, you'll also see some tents. That's Cirque du Soleil. And I keep forgetting the name of the show that is currently performing, but it celebrates Mexican heritage and culture. And no matter what, Cirque du Soleil is always incredible. I saw their Beatles themed show in Vegas a couple years back. I absolutely loved it. And here that is Mile High Stadium. Now let me out here. Does anyone know who plays football at Mile High Stadium? I think I heard it. The Denver Broncos. In addition, I don't know if we have any believers on board, but it looks like Justin Bieber is going to be coming in August. Oh boy, I'm excited. Yeah, so the Denver Broncos mascot is Thunder. He's a Palomino horse modeled after Roy Rogers' famous horse Trigger. And they actually used cast of Trigger to cast the statue on the front of the stadium. And up on your left here is Broncos Bridge. Now, that's actually, I'll do a little advertising here. We run the trolley on Broncos home game and playoff game days from our yard in this location. It's way cheaper to park, and it's about a $7 round trip. A little bit of a fun ride. We usually move about 400 people a day, so I hope to see you then. And now you're right, this is very interesting. We have a Comcast building. That's not actually that interesting. Well, on the other side of it is a parking lot, and just around this area, there's not much left of it, but in the early 1900s, this was an Eastern European immigrant community with a very large percentage of Jewish population, including none other than Golda Meir, the fourth Prime Minister of Israel from 1969 to 1974. She actually went to school around here in 1914. And in a couple moments under the Outlaws billboard, you might be able to make out there's a brown brick building with a flag on top. That's Brooklyn's restaurant. Served the Jewish community in this early 1900s. Still open today. I hear they have a good burger there. So Mervyn is bringing us to a nice, very gentle stop here. And I'd like to direct your attention left and up. And if you look under the viaduct, you might just be able to make out a bunch of little mud ball nests hanging from it. That's our local community of cliff swallows. Now, cliff swallows are a migratory bird, and you might actually be able to see some of them doing little bombing runs over the river, hunting for insects. They eat their body-weighted insects every single day, and we are very thankful for that. In addition, these are only summer homes for the cliff swallows. When it starts getting cold again, they'll all head down to South America. Oh, I wish I could just head down to South America every time it got cold. Avenue. Now, Colfax Avenue is actually just one part of the longest U.S. route in America, US 40. It actually stretches from coast to coast, but here we call it Colfax, named after the Vice President of the United States under Grant right after the Civil War, Schuyler Colfax. And just the road we're actually going to be crossing Colfax. Advance. We might have to get a little loud. Sometimes we have to remind drivers that we're here. They might get a little crazy and try to race us across. So across it, and you might be able to make out up front. There's kind of an old-looking bridge. It's not actually that old. That's a light rail's W line to Golden, Colorado. You can actually see it going across right now. And there's a power plant. That's Xcel Energy's Zuni power plant. That's an industrial site right there. Well, we're coming to the end of the first leg of our journey, and we're going to have to start heading the other direction. So I'm going to ask all you guys to get out and push. Nah, just kidding. We're actually going to come by and flip your seats over. Motor and Reed, a little tongue-tied here. He'll come by and flip your seat over. If you guys would like to start us out and switch over this seat, it only took about 4 pounds of gold to cover the entire dome, I think. And that'll be to your right. Just about now. A few fun facts about Colorado. So does the Centennial State. It was formed in 1876, 100 years after 1776, and I think something happened in 1776. Probably nothing important now, right? Nah, just kidding. Declaration of Independence. This great nation. For the state. One of the other ones they suggested was Lula. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I could keep a straight face saying I'm from the state of Lula. So now that I have a captive audience, I'm going to talk a little bit about safety. So please, kiddos, never try and cross in front of a moving train and never try and race a train across the tracks. And please generally don't play around railroad tracks. This trolley itself weighs 18 tons. And it takes a few moments to stop. If we're talking freight trains, we're talking 55 miles an hour. Passenger trains go about 80 miles an hour, and they take over a mile to stop. So please, be safe out there. Some of the local color, apparently.
There's the spider! It's not a spider.
So the trolley you're riding in right now, the mechanical parts, the stuff that makes it go, we're actually from a trolley that ran from 1925 to 1960 in Melbourne, Australia. The parts were shipped over here in the 80s. They built the wooden frame around it from an early steam Denver car or a breezer. Let me tell you, that breeze feels really nice on a day like this. Some of the first trolleys in Denver were actually in the 1870s, and they were pulled by a horse. A horse would pull the trolley uphill, then when it reached the top of the hill, the horse would jump on and ride it back down. That was a little messy, if you know what I mean, so they switched to a power line that ran under the rails. But snow is a problem, as usual in Denver, so they switched to a cable car line, and then again in 1900 they switched to an overhead power line, like the kind in San Francisco, California. No, cable car was in San Francisco, the overhead power line. 1901 they built a central powerhouse. Supplied power to all 120 miles of line. Which was important because we had cars going to Golden, Adolph, Louisville, and Boulder. You may recognize the central powerhouse as the REI building. Now some of the largest ridership for Denver trolleys was during World War II. But after that, automobiles and buses became very popular. And last trolley ride was on June 3rd, 1950. Two competing trolley companies, the Denver Tramway Company and the Denver City Railway Company, merged together to actually become the Regional Transportation District, or the RTD. You may have ridden their light rail once or twice. So if you look up ahead, it's a little bit difficult to see. It's usually easier when you're standing. Please go see it. It's a round brick building up ahead with a lot of chimneys. You may be able to just see the top of it right now. That's the house of the brewmaster for Zang's Brewery. I'll go ahead to your left a little bit. Now Zang's Brewery in the early 1900s was actually bigger than Coors, if you believe it or not. And they brewed a lot of beer, but Prohibition hit and all the breweries owners had to find new businesses to take up. Coors decided to take up ceramics, and it was a great move for them. Allowed them to survive. They actually still have a ceramics facility and division right now. But Zang's made a pretty poor decision, went into ice cream. And back in the 20s, freezers weren't super great, so they ended up going out of business. Now in just a few moments, keep an eye out to your right. And after the last one slide of Ulysses, you'll get a stunning view of the Denver skyline, including the former May D&F building, a tan clock tower looking building with a flag on top. That's a former department store built in 1911. And actually when it was built, it was the tallest building between here in Chicago. Yeah, look at that beautiful view. My personal favorite building is a cash register building, as it's known. I don't remember the actual name of it. But I believe they actually have heaters in the tops of that building, so snow doesn't accumulate on the slope and then fall on someone down below. So we're coming up on the world headquarters of the Denver Trolley, and I'd like to take this moment to let you know we're a not-for-profit organization. All our work is managed and maintained by volunteers. We appreciate you buying a ticket to ride. If you'd like to make any additional donations, there are fare boxes at each end of the trolley should you wish to do so. Please remain safe until we come to a complete stop and we raise the safety bar to your left. If we picked you up somewhere else, we'll make sure we dropped you off where we found you. Don't you worry at all. Those of you who are young or just young at heart, feel free to come to this end of the trolley.